Hello guys, welcome into the GVH Football Show. We love the game and we're in Doha, Qatar for the FIFA Under-17 World Cup 2025. An exciting tournament to see who tomorrow's GOAT is and who will be lifting this prestigious underage tournament. Tomorrow's GOAT, this tournament is where we've seen many of the world footballers take their steps into professional football and introduce themselves to the world. Talk about Phil Foden, Victor Osimhen, Neymar, Ronaldinho, Toni Kroos, the list goes on and on. And this year, well, we get to see who will be some of the footballers that follow in the route of some of those former footballers who have gone on to entertain but also become world beaters in world football. Now it's happening in the same state that we're going to see the FIFA 2022 World Cup unfold. What a tournament that was, most definitely exciting, entertaining, but also well organized. That we're going to see many of the reports and many of the different news outlets actually come out and report that what a tournament that was, well organized by the state but also by FIFA. And I think on that note, FIFA thought it best that, listen, if we had to hold another World Cup and more so an underage tournament and give still the fans, the players and everybody involved a wholesome experience, why not come back to the state of Qatar? And Qatar duly, of course, accepted. And this is a state where we've seen many sports events go on, and they've decided to take that route of actually being a state that holds very many sporting events. Talk about UFC, Formula One, different footballing tournaments. Later in the year, we're going to see the Inter-Confederation tournament happen right here, where we'll get to see Pyramids, the winners of the CAF Champions League. Here in Qatar, they'll be taking on the likes of PSG as well, who won the UEFA Champions League. The tournament will be played amongst the teams that won their respective continental premier club competitions. It will be held right here. The FIFA Arab Cup will be here. Formula One Qatar will be happening here shortly after we get to see this tournament come to a conclusion. So this is a sports hub, and the government has taken its due process to ensure that it gets ready to host any sporting event. Talk about any sporting events, even camels racing, the government is ready to host it right here in Qatar. We're here for the FIFA Under-17 World Cup. The group stages concluded on Tuesday, that's the 11th of November, and now we're getting ready for the knockout phase, which will be starting on the 14th and will be ending on the 15th. Of course, that is the round of 32 before we head into the round of 16. The tournament will be climaxing 27th of November, and we'll see who will be the champion. Now, on Wednesday and on Thursday, it was the rest day for the teams. Well, talk about grueling group stage action. These boys needed a rest. Getting to qualify to the knockout phase in itself took a lot of energy, took a lot of focus, intensity, and we got to see that. Well, talk about Group K, where Uganda was pitted. All teams ended with 4 points, but because of the head-to-head and the different goal differences involved, we were able to get to see who qualified and who was eliminated. France winning the group, of course, topping the group, and then having Canada in second place, Uganda in third, and finally Chile in fourth, who were eliminated from the tournament. But the rest day does not mean that fully rest. It means time to get and strategize for the round of 32, and that means coming to the training facilities as well as analyzing your opponents, getting to see how they fared on in the group stages, and then getting ready to go out there on the football pitch for all the action. Well, we're at the Ersal training facility. This is one of many training facilities that was used during the FIFA 2022 World Cup, and this is one of 16 facilities that is being used at the FIFA Under-17 World Cup here in Qatar. Now, talking about the Ersal training facility, some of the world's best players have been able to use this training facility. Talk about Croatia. Croatia used this particular training facility. The likes of Bayern Munich as well as Chelsea have used this training facility in the years past, and they've all had good things to say. We're going to be taking a stroll around the Ersal training facility, particularly the football pitch, and I'll tell you, it is very, very beautiful, and it is state of the art, because that's what Qatar state government had aimed for in terms of ensuring that it is state of the art and a modern facility. We'll take a look at the training at the turf. We'll take a look at the facility around, which does have floodlights, a media stand, a media center. It has recovery rooms as well as the IT and communication rooms as well. We'll be taking a stroll here to see just exactly what this is like. What pitches 5 and 6, and pitch 6 or pitch 5 is where the Uganda Cubs will be taking part in their training session today, of course, ahead of their big game against Senegal in the round of 32. Let's have a look. Okay, so pitch 5 here at the Ersal training facility is being set up, as the Uganda Cubs will be using that particular facility and that playing surface to get ready for their round of 32 fixture against the Senegalese later this Saturday on the 15th of November 2025. Now, a little bit about this training facility. Now, this is one of two training facilities that is being used for the FIFA Under-17 World Cup. We have the Al Tumam and the Al Ersal training facilities. Now, a little bit about this surface right here. The grass that you get to see right here is part of a legacy investment. Now, FIFA and the different governments that host FIFA tournaments came up with this initiative and policy to set up different initiatives that will stay and benefit the community and the state long after the final whistle is blown. We're getting to see that happen right now in North America, Canada, Mexico, as well as USA, as they set up different initiatives. In the USA, we see different mini pitches being set up across different states that are going to be hosting the FIFA World Cup games in order to develop sport, but also for social development after the World Cup comes to a conclusion. Now, in the FIFA 2022 World Cup, what was set up here was the Supreme Committee Tree and Turf Nursery. Now, the grass you see right here all came from that particular nursery. It was grown in that nursery and was planted on these training facilities, these training pitches, as well as the different pitches that have been installed at the different stadia that were used for the FIFA 2022 World Cup. Now, the nursery has over 16,000 trees as well as over 670,000 shrubs, which have over 60 different types of trees and shrubs which originate from Thailand, Qatar, as well as Spain. Originally, the seeds were imported from the USA but were harvested here in Qatar. So this grass right here is used or is grown in Qatar, used in Qatar for the Qataris, but also all the different other nations that come to Qatar to better prepare themselves for football tournaments, but also to be used for different football tournaments as well. Now, the water that is also used for the sprinklers is actually recycled water, which is fed from the Doha North Sewage Treatment Works plant. And so that water as well is used to benefit the community in itself. So different clubs are able to use these facilities, as well as different community teams, the different nations, as well as clubs that come here for sporting tournaments. But that is quite impressive in itself. And this grass, I'll tell you, looks quite pristine in itself. It is quality grass, and it is the grass that was also used during the FIFA World Cup. So we're getting to see the Uganda Cubs getting a feel of what some of the World Cup players and World Cup teams have been able to use. That is the Senior World Cup. They're a World Cup team at the under-17 level, but talking about some of those teams that have played at the Senior Men's World Cup as well in recent past. But fascinating here, and very soon we'll get to see the Uganda Cubs stand up here for their training session. This facility, we do see the floodlights right there. There is a stand for the media. There's a medical room to ensure that all the players are healthy, and in case of any knock, of any encounter between the players and their health perhaps is at risk, then they have a standby medical room. They also have ambulances that are around to ensure that nothing goes out of hand. There's a media room where we can sit down, get to edit our work, and ensure that you get this right here. But also there is a communications and IT department right here to ensure that all things are set. So we'll be getting to watch the Uganda Cubs and see just how ready they are for the up and coming game in the round of 32. Their first ever appearance right there at this tournament. Okay, so the Uganda Cubs made it here safe and sound and are taking part in their Thursday evening training session. This is the second rest day organized by FIFA after a grueling phase of group stages, which got to see 72 games played across 9 days. Of course, Uganda involved in 3 group stage fixtures, but do not take it lightly that on the training session immediately after the matches, they had to go into intensive preparations for those group stage encounters. But 2 days of rest, and we got to hear in from one of the players, that Stephen Oiroth, who is one of the core defenders for the Uganda Cubs, and he had his opportunity to share just what the players have been going through these past 2 days after defeating France in the ultimate game of their Group K assignments, where they defeated France by 1-0. Now, how did they utilize the 2 rest days? What is the thought process of the players after they defeated France and ahead of Senegal? Here is Stephen Oiroth as he talks about what the team looks ahead to in terms of round of 32.
Have you personally and the team been able to utilize these 2 rest days ahead of round of 32?
First, we're having a good recovery. We're making sure that we get the good one, because we're going to face a game that is having no way back. We just have to win.
After all the excitement died down, you've been able to qualify. What's the mentality like in camp ahead of the game against Senegal?
Yeah, well, I can say that the mentality right now, let me say we have a positive mentality. We're looking forward to face a good team, because they're one of the best in Africa. So our mentality is to go fight hard. We're looking towards for a serious win that is going to change maybe our lives.
Qualify out of the group, beating a team like France against at the stage of the round of 32. Does the pressure increase or it decrease?
Surely, let me say the pressure increased, because it's not a given to rub shoulders is one of the best. Yes, it was really a great moment, me as a player and the team.
And what has the experience been like for you playing at
the experience was really good, because we faced players that are intelligent, different environment, different systems, and the knowledge of football maybe differs. So we also got to learn a lot of things from them, because we always hear that football comes from France.
What do you think has made your team stand out? What is the thing about this particular set of players that has allowed you to perform the way you've been able to perform?
I can say it was teamwork and the natural belief we had in ourselves. It was not easy, because we were facing a big team. Everyone was not even suspecting us to win. So we had a teamwork. We were working together at the pitch, on and out the pitch, the technical bench. So we had to raise our hearts and work so hard.
The course of the team have learned from the moment you played your first World Cup game and now it's the knockout. What do you think you've been able to learn progressively from the first match that you played?
Yeah, well, the biggest thing we, as a team that we learned was how to control pressure. That is very important, because this is our first World Cup tournament. So we had to learn a lot of things, but the biggest is to control pressure. Yeah, and we're improving on that.
All right, so the defense has most certainly been able to grow from strength to strength. One thing that we had highlighted at the start of the international friendlies before the FIFA World Cup kicked off was that Uganda was able to score fast but unable to hold on to the lead. Their first game against the Canadians, they scored fast, but were unfortunately in the dying embers of the match, they were unable to hold on the lead and conceded 2 goals to lose that game. Then they conceded against Chile, but in a game that really mattered, that would see them, of course, make plenty of headlines, but also get into the knockout phase. They were able to keep a clean sheet, and against all odds, the French. So Stephen Oiroth's department will be hoping that they can be intact and, of course, keep that same sort of game that they played against the French, against the Senegalese, and possibly go through to the next round. But we'll get to see how they'll be faring on. Can James Bourgueil continue his fine scoring form? Can some of the other forwards, of course, as well get onto the score sheet, such as Derek Souza got onto the score sheet in the game against Chile? And can they be able to get the job done and go through the next round? They went through their training process, including the penalties. We know that here, if it's a stalemate after 90 minutes, penalties will be able to decide who goes through the round of 16. So focus here was on the set pieces, but also ensuring that the approach to the game is one that will get to gather the advantage over the Senegalese. But training has concluded, and the players will be, of course, going back to their hotel rooms to rest, and tomorrow they'll be having their ultimate training session as they get ready to face Senegal. We'll bring you all that you need to know right here on the DVH Football Show. We love the game. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share this video.